good to go?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First meeting of this fiscal year. In government, this is like our January 1 almost. So, I hope everyone had a nice weekend, enjoyed the family and friends, and celebrated America's 250th anniversary. And good Lord, tarries. Hopefully we can have another 250 years. But he'll let us know if we're not. But as we start the meeting, Mike, would you open in a word of prayer, please, and then we'll say the pledge.
Lord, thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us once again, and Lord, I just ask that you be with us as we go through the duration of this meeting, and may the issues that come before us and the decisions that we have to make, that we think them through thoroughly with the thoughts of all the county citizens and the benefit of the county in mind. And Lord, we just ask that every decision that we make be pleasing and acceptable in your sight. We just ask that you be with those that need it today, Father, that you comfort them and guide them and direct them, those that are facing hardships and in time of need, and those that have lost loved ones or are facing sickness. Lord, we just ask that it be our prayer that you guide them and comfort them in their time of need. Lord, we just ask that you be with our country and the world as a whole, as there's a lot of unrest in our country and in the world right now. Lord, we just ask that you be with all of our military leaders and the leaders of our country and those that are doing negotiations, and that you it'd be our will or be our wish that your will would ultimately be done in those situations, and that peace come across all of the nations. Lord, and just be with us today and guard and guide and direct us and keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us. Please our
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Lord, good to have you. So, Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll, please.
Squire Stubbs.
Here.
Squire Ferris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Clark.
Here.
All present.
All right, everyone's here. Thank you for that. First item on the agenda, we have several minutes to approve today, different sections, and then we have some post-executive session to approve also. But first is the first set of minutes, starting on page 3, and I'm using the numbers on the bottom of the pages. Does anyone have any changes or additions to?
Is it the 6:15 minutes?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Mike, second by Zach to approve the March, what was it, 15th?
June
March. June 15th, meeting minutes as presented. Any discussion?
Which one was it that had the executive session minutes that needed to be corrected?
I've got a June 1, June 3,
Which one was it?
June 15th.
We've got June 1st, June 3rd, and June 15th. I think it's the 1st, the one that you were initially interested in at the last meeting.
Okay.
Did they get corrected? I don't know.
Well, let's approve these.
Okay.
We're just approving
I
just
want to make
this
sure it
thing.
wasn't part of these.
No, this is, this is just, this meeting was complete without,
Okay.
I think. All right, yeah, okay, all right, well, yeah, they're not part of the,
Okay.
okay, all right, any further discussion on these? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion.
I just wanna say that I will not be voting on any of the minutes that presented today because I was absent.
All right, we'll let the minutes show that. Thank you, Tim. So, it's still passed by majority vote. So. All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the June 22nd. Page 63. I have one change. Well, on page 63, I have a change. They don't start on 63, they start on 39. Yeah. On page 63, where it says the Stitcher House got 400,000 at the bottom of the page, that should be 300,000. That's just one change that I saw.
I got just two changes, Judge.
Oh, that,
Mainly to eliminate a lot of unnecessary commentary that doesn't reflect any actions of the court per se.
okay,
Bottom right-hand corner, going by those numbers, page 40.
Yeah.
Starting about, after the second sentence, property tax. Start striking there. And go all the way to the motion at the top of page 41.
alright,
And then, except all the numbers on the bottom right, go to page 24.
so which
Or no, wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, go the other way.
No, I'm using the top left, so I'm having to
Okay.
to myself here. It's gonna be, 62.
Yes.
Bottom right. Okay. Start striking, at the judge, which is the beginning of that commentary, and go all the way through to the motion at the middle of page 25.
Alright,
Or, I mean, 63, sorry.
Yes.
That's the only two things I have.
alright, so we have, two corrections from two of us on this. Any other corrections on this set of minutes?
Motion to approve with the recommended changes.
Alright, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Zach, second by Dan to approve the, fiscal court meeting minutes Monday, June 22nd, with the changes mentioned. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion passes. Please include that Jim didn't vote. All right, now we have, I think Cheryl sent out these three post-executive minutes, and we need to approve each of these individually. Y'all, they should have been in your packet. And,
Oh, in the physical court packet?
No, they're in a separate email.
Cheryl,
I emailed them, I will respond,
I'm not certain.
say,
They're Thursday. I got emailed out. I got the June 1. They're in different.
I can read them because they're very brief to the point.
Okay, you're gonna.
So on June 1st, fiscal court, motion to enter a post-executive session, at 11:14 a.m. Motion to enter executive session as per the right KRS 61810 C and F. Motion by myself, second by Zach, pass 6-0. Motion to return to executive session, no decision made. Motion by myself, second by Will, pass 6-0. At 12:20 p.m., motion to approve fiscal soft hosting for cloud backup, $100 for each department head, total of $500. Motion by Scott, second by Will, pass 6-0. Motion to adjourn, Zach, Mike, pass 6-0.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All right, motion by Zach, second by Will to approve the post-executive session minutes of June 1st. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Jim did not vote.
I got the rest of it.
Okay.
Just took me, you just have to read it a while.
Okay. Well, we got the, the post-executive session, June 3rd.
Motion to approve.
Approved. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Zach, second by Mike to approve the fiscal court post-executive session minutes of June 3rd. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Jim didn't vote. And the last is the June 15th post-executive session minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Zach, second by Will to approve the post-executive session minutes of June 15th. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Jim didn't vote. Basically, if anyone in the audience is entered, both of them are identical. We went into executive session, we came out of executive session, we adjourned. All right. Yeah, now we've got all the minutes taken care of.
We did.
Oh, yeah.
Special meeting.
Laura, here's the page of the first minutes that I signed that we passed without change. Yeah, here we go, June 25th. All right. On the floor now is the special call meeting Thursday, June 25th. What's the pleasure of the group?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right, we have motion by Zach, second by Mike, or vice versa. Motion by Mike, second by Zach to approve the Thursday, June 25th special call meeting minutes as presented. Any discussion? All right, I don't have a sign page. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you, Will. All right. The communications with judge executive, I'll just follow the agenda and keep things even. I'm on page 73, bottom number. The copier that's in my office, it works. It's not color, but it works. It was there when I got there. And we had they had a lease agreement, and we've been using it, I guess, without a lease agreement. So we were going to discuss doing another lease agreement. And there are times when color is beneficial. So I'd like to get a color one. And basically on page 75, it's $94 a month. And they own the equipment and they keep it running.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, motion by Zach, second by Jim to approve the lease agreement, which would be 48 months at $94 a month. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we have communications from citizens. If anyone would like to address the crowd, we've got 3 minutes. Go ahead, Bobby. We need to try to stay with the 3 minutes. So when we get 3 minutes, I'm gonna drop a hammer. So y'all wrap it up, please.
I'm Bobby Smith, and I'm working to create a program for houses for people that have problems affording them. And I've decided to come before the court and ask for help. That help, it can come in a form of support. We don't have a program to help low income and a lot of people. We just need to improve our position on housing. I don't want to stand up here and talk for a period of time, but I'd like to ask you, Scott, to form a committee that can sit down and discuss this and bring it back to physical court, because me getting up here and saying something doesn't do very much. And I'm serious about doing it, but I don't have much time left to do anything. So I need to ask you, Scott, to appoint a committee that can work with me, and I work with them to get some information. And standing up here to make a statement doesn't do any good. I'm through. Thank you.
All right, I'll just kind of continue on. You having trouble hearing me, Bobby?
I can't hear nothing this morning.
Well, my comment is that Bobby visited me a couple weeks ago and talked about this idea that he has. And, basically, the committee that you want us to set up would be to try to get investment funds and try to get grants, try to get assistance to get this project going. That's correct?
To get it to continue, I'm gonna get it going. I've got a signed sales agreement on 16 acres that's perfect.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna get it started, and I'm gonna do it, but this is something that we need all across this country. I asked the question of how many people between 18 and 30 own their home, and it's 60% 66 was the answer I got, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, well, home ownership is the American dream.
And let's help them with it.
So that sounds good. We'll address that. We'll try to get
Dan's
this
already
going.
finished. He said he was interested in talking to me about helping. So you remember?
About like the Veterans Village and stuff.
Can't hear.
That we said Veterans Village.
Is what I was talking about.
Well, yeah, that's the same. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. You said, hey, we can get, but we need to help everybody.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity.
All right,
Get through, Scott.
we can do that. Thank you, Bobby. Anyone else like to address the audience or address the court from the audience? I'm sorry.
Good morning. My name is Derek Singletary, and I live in the Global Crossings neighborhood. We love Spencer County, and I'm not speaking on behalf of the
Anybody else would like to have one?
but I'm speaking as a board member who's been there since it was founded. Mr. Lowell came up to me and asked me to join, and those of you know Mr. Lowell, of course, when he asks you to do something, do it. So, anyways, I walk the neighborhood roughly about 20 miles a week, and with the addition of phases 4, 5, and 6, the traffic has increased pretty significantly, especially on Nevin Lane. And then adding the popularity over time of deliveries such as Amazon, just more and more traffic on Nevin Lane. So Nevin Lane is a long stretch of road that goes through phases 1, 2, and 3. And at our annual meeting, 84% of the neighbors voted to try to add 2 stop signs in Nevin Lane just because of the increased traffic. And as you all know, getting 84% of any group of people to agree on something's pretty difficult to get, but we got 84%. And so with that 84%, we tried to get the 2 stop signs added. There's just been too many post calls, people backing out of their driveway, having a hard time not seeing cars coming, or they're coming too quickly. And most importantly, we got a lot of walkers and bikers, kids walking through the neighborhood, visiting their neighborhood kids, or going to the local ponds in that area to fish. And so we're just looking to try to add 2 stop signs in Nevin Lane. We recently had a gentleman who regularly walks the neighborhood get hit by a car, and it was within maybe 15 feet of where we were proposing to have a stop sign. So, we reached out to Judge Executive, Mr. Travis, and that's why we're here today, to see about adding a stop sign at the corner of Nevin and Benjamin, making it a 4-way stop, and at the corner of Nevin and James Lane, making it a 3-way stop. We think those 2 stop signs will keep traffic steady and not speeding through the neighborhood quite as quickly. You can't add a stop sign just for speeding, but it's also just because of the number of cars, the number of the kids. There's a lot of kids in the neighborhood, and we're just trying to protect them as well. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you. I do have on the agenda a little later, under new business, and we'll discuss this a little more then. You can stick around or, anyway, I understand the idea there, so. All right, does anyone else in the audience like to address the court today? All right, we will be closing the communications from citizens. First on the agenda is Ashley. You're up.
So I have the first reading for Teddy and Donna Knoll requesting Ag 2 agriculture to R3 residential on 2.442 acres located on Cecil Knoll Road. Commissioner Hunt, I make a motion to recommend the rezone application of Teddy and Donna Knoll requesting a zone change from Ag 2 agriculture to amended R1 residential on 2.442 acres located on Cecil Knoll Road, with the understanding that House Bill 160 will become in effect on 7/1/26, which would then allow for a qualified manufactured home under the House Bill 160 to be allowed on R1 zoning, along with a regular stick-built home. The recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends low to medium density. The change would be in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and there was no one here to speak against it. Commissioner Osborne second, Chairman Brown roll call, Administrator Welch roll call, motion carries.
All right, this is just the first reading, so we'll vote at the next meeting. While you're here, we discussed the other day about the comprehensive plan and getting KIPTA to help us. If you'd like to address that, then I'll call a vote on the approval. They don't have it in their books.
Okay. I think I can look into that
Okay.
for a while, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So, I got a hold of KIPTA because the comprehensive plan needs to be completely revamped. It's not been revamped since '08. We've just kind of adopted it every year after that. So it needs to be completely redone. KIPTA has given me a quote for someone to come out here, be the person that will help me completely go from beginning to end with the book, do the maps, all of the wording, everything like that. Was it 35,000 is what they quoted. They said it would take anywhere from 6 months to a year to completely finish that. And that's one of the cheaper. Nelson County's doing it right now, and their person is 50,000.
Well, and basically, you all understand that, comprehensive plan is basically our guidance, the rules that we follow. And since I was somewhat alarmed, it hadn't been really updated since '08. And KIPTA will catch us up on many changes. We've tried to add them, and I'm trusting that we've added what we've needed to
Yes,
include.
we've added.
But they do need to be modern and updated, and of course they'll have our input, because, they will guide us that this is what the law says, this is what some communities are doing. Of course, it'll all still come back to us through the hearing process as it all gets approved. But, I thought it was a good idea that, we get professional assistance on this. I know 35,000 is a lot of money. But at the same time, we gotta get the comprehensive plan right, so we can, control the zoning, how this group likes it, and then the next group down the line, will have the same document to go by. So, I wanted to bring it in front of the court, of course, have to, because it's a lot of money, but just to hear y'all's thoughts on it.
Well, I think it's gonna say it's not a bad idea, but what are like the biggest updates be coming to the comprehensive plan? It's all complicated, you know, anything.
Well, first, we've got to redo the future map, the land use map, because there's places right now where commercial is that we did not suspect it would be commercial, so we've got to redo the land use map. We're gonna add data centers in there more, the residential stuff with all the changes from House Bill 160 will have to go in there.
My opinion, I think it's been changed throughout the years. Kept up with somewhat good, but the land use map will be the biggest thing to change. Because how much has changed around here from 08 to now.
I think in the last, was it 18 years?
Yeah.
The county's changed a lot, and I think it's a good idea that we move forward and maybe update this. I mean, right now, like, I think it's almost so far out of date that what the paper's written on right now.
Well, it's not out of date, the land use map is out of date, but, I mean.
That's what I just said.
You know, I don't know. 35,000 is a big deal to swallow.
I don't think it has to be done today myself. And it's been added to year after year after year. Put it in the budget year for the next year. I mean, where's this money gonna get stolen from, your thoughts?
We'll have to take it from somewhere. I mean, that's done from somewhere.
Gotta be paid for sure.
Yeah.
Hey Scott, one thing that we had talked about when they passed this House bill for manufactured housing.
Yes.
Is, ordinances to restrict certain manufacturing housing that are easily put in, like, the roof, you know,
Yeah.
pitch and, the amount of brick and that has to be, and multiple counties are doing that to restrict that.
We're doing that.
I don't think.
I have an
we ever
advisement
moved on it.
committee right now, we're working on that. The 16th is coming back to planning and zoning for them to make their final decisions on. I'm hoping that they vote for it and it will come to you all the next fiscal board meeting that I can get it noticed.
Of course, you know, I know going forward, the classes and trainings I've been to, you know, you can still have an HOA if anyone develops their farm or buys the property to develop, they can require that everyone in there be X, you know, you have to be that. But it's, I don't know that we cannot put, because that new law,
So
we can't put a county, go ahead.
We can add, we just can't make it to the point where they absolutely cannot. So what it is the state has come up with so many things that they require. So it has to be like over 900 square foot, the front of it has to be so long, but we're gonna add in there the cladding because it does say that it has to match within a 1/8 mile of a radius around. So we want it like finished grade. So if they're gonna try to put it in a residential subdivision with a brick home within that miles, it has to be completely to the ground. That way it all matches all the way around. Most of our subdivisions already have it in their restrictions that manufactured homes are not allowed. I have contacted the newer developers that are just now coming in and telling them that they need to add qualified manufactured home along with, because there's now 3 different definitions for manufactured homes.
I was under the understanding that House Bill 160 rule or whatever was, there's already certain stipulations already in there with the foundation, roof pitch and all that was already.
There is. We can add to, for the county, what we would suggest. We're gonna leave the roof pitch the way it is though. So the only thing we really changed around is the cladding.
I mean, I guess the biggest change is that you can't say no to a manufactured home, just because it's a manufactured home.
Yeah.
It's
They're gonna
kind
call
of
it.
like solar farms. You can't say no to solar farms, but you can.
Restrict.
You can say, yeah, we can't tell you can, but it has to look like this. in this
Exactly.
county.
So that's why they come up with the cladding and they want it finished grade. If it's brick home around, they want it to be bricked. So,
And I had a communication with the former county judge, he works at Caco now. And, we were talking about data centers and things. And, I have not talked to anyone that likes the idea of data centers in the county. I even talked to one guy and said, what if you paid 0 property tax but had a data center? He said, I still don't want it. And I thought, well, that's pretty strong. So, but we got to talking about it and wondering how we are covered. And after I got finished talking with him, and I really trust him a lot because he has lots of experience. And I explained to him that they would have to fit in I-1 and we don't have a lot of I-1 land in our county. So we have a step ahead that, I feel we have a step ahead that a lot of counties don't have.
Which, I also mentioned to you the moratorium on them as well.
Yes.
We discussed in Thursday's meeting, we would like to bring that to you all to get that passed as well, so.
Okay, all right, well, and Felicia Kipta was recommended me last month that we do a resolution.
Mhm.
And then when we pass the resolution, with our comp plan, then we can do one on the moratorium on if we choose. But we don't have 300-acre industrial site in this county. We don't. It would have to go through zoning. And see, a lot of counties don't even have zoning. So if some big outfit comes and wants to buy a farm that doesn't have zoning, they have no way to say, hold up. But where we have what we have to be in industrial. And the good news is it's our city and our county. I know when I was on a Zoom call with Senator Paul the other day, and one county near us, there's one town that doesn't have zoning, but the county has zoning. Well, they wanted to annex some ground to put a data center by a coal-fired plant they had. So they didn't have any way to, if the annexation were to go through, I'm not sure how it wound up, but where we are covered, the whole Taylorsville and Spencer County, he felt real good. He said, I think y'all are way ahead of others. So I don't think we're in the dust on it. I think but we can do some more.
Right. I know Nelson and Trimble are in moratoriums for that. So.
My brother-in-law lives in Bell County. He just called me the other day he said, what do you think about data centers? I said, I haven't heard anything good about it. They went in there, they don't have county zoning. So they just went in there and cleared a bunch of land, the company did, and said, we're gonna build a data center here. So now they're having to fight it after the fact.
We talked about months ago because of the sewer lines going in at Mill Creek and all that, about redoing some of the regulations on R2 developments. And Julie had gotten a copy of her version of the changes that she wanted. Have y'all been working on any of that?
So we're working on the 160, House Bill 160, along with some of our advisement committee members are wanting to change some of the acreages possibly on some of the R2 and the R1s. So that's all we've looked into so far. And then, the next I think is gonna be the data centers.
All right, any other comments? I guess we'll do some more discussion on if we need to get Kipta and how deep and how involved. Everyone made good points. That is a lot of money, and we have got by from then to now, and maybe we're good enough. But we'll do some more checking on them and report back. So.
My biggest concern with it was, we don't do it right now, but I thought it would be beneficial to look at, because as we've all discussed, this county is growing at an exponential rate as far as, and mainly only with residential housing and developments, which makes it hard for us to keep up with the infrastructure with, the hardships that we have with our infrastructure based upon that. And I just want to make sure that, going forward, this county has a comprehensive plan that takes that into consideration, because I don't think it does now. Because I could want to put a McDonald's, in the middle of my farm, and it would be okay with the comprehensive plan. I've never seen anything be not okay with the comprehensive plan, and it just seems like it's just completely unrestricted. And that's just my opinion, and I know there's probably disagreements in that, but when it comes to, we've had a couple issues over the course of this tenure of this court in the last 4 years with some developments that was not going to be a good idea for this county, that was not going to be beneficial to this county. And we ended up, had to take a lot of extracurricular actions that we wouldn't normally have to take. I thought if we had a comprehensive plan, that we could take that into consideration initially.
What, go ahead, Jim.
But, you know, I always thought the comprehensive plan was, that part of it was just a guideline for the county to go by. Where our regulations and ordinances is the other section of it that we say this is what we want to do. But the comprehensive plan, I think the Kip was talking about doing it in Thor, is a general guideline of what they think that the county should adhere to, not necessarily regulations. Regulations are on our part.
Well, there's nowhere it talks about, recommends medium.
They recommend, but they, it's not.
Well, the problem with how that they look at that, the county as a whole, where we are a smaller county in our population, is you take within 5 miles of anywhere in the county, you can run a development, you can run a high density, you can run low density, where that comes in where that allows the pop up, wherever, how small we are, density are.
Well, if that's the truth, then it don't mean nothing, and it's just why spend the money?
Well, I think it's very important, and, I don't know, go for it. Just-
That's contradictory to what you just said. You just said, well, it ain't really that big of a deal.
No. Well, it's not what
It's just recommendation,
But,
and then now it's very important, so I try to figure out what it is.
anyway,
Have you ever been on their website, looked at all of it?
No,
That's why I'm there and look at it.
I would say we go ahead and do it, and if it's gonna take 6 months to a year, it's gonna be in the next court before anything even happens with it. So if we wait till the next court, then it's gonna be.
September is when we have to vote on it again, because every September. So we were just, if we can get this on board or whatever, I can say that's what we're doing in September, we can follow through for the year. It's however we need to. I'm gonna be straight up honest, I don't have any idea as to what I'm doing with comprehensive plan. I have never, I have Julie's box in there where she done it a long time ago, and I have been trying to go through it, and it is over my head, and I am not afraid to say that I'm scared that I will mess something up. And I don't wanna
You'll
mess
get it.
So,
I was sitting here thinking, it keeps coming to my mind is whenever we do these things, mixed use.
right,
Mixed use would be what would allow the scenario like.
exactly. And we don't have that in a lot of areas. A lot of them, like, let's just say, for instance, in Oak Creek by Global Crossings and all that, it's right now low to medium density. And actually, that's high density right now. Because there's so many houses over there, and then there's more phases coming in. So right now, our future land use map is kind of outdated for even that area, because it's not low to medium density.
Well, my question would be, instead of doing redoing the whole plan, why couldn't we do that portion?
They can come in and help with whichever. So the breakdown, I can send it to you all if you want me to send it to you all. It's a breakdown of what all they can come in and help me with. 35 is for the whole thing. But if we only want to do bits and pieces, we can only do bits and pieces.
All right, yeah, let's.
However we wanna
let's
do it.
that.
So I can send all of you all that.
Yeah, we'll have it on the next meeting agenda. That's good.
So
This is 2 weeks away. Yeah. All right. All right. Anything else, Ashley? All good? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
We also discussed, when I was visiting them last week about, they have a copy machine, and then they have 2 other machines, one for scanning, one for something else. And then Stephanie, that collects taxes, she does not have a way to scan a pile of papers. You have to stick them in one at a time to scan. And she's trying to clean up some filing cabinets. So the thought is that Stephanie needs a better machine. They need a better machine, and then these 2 we're actually leasing from our CSI that does all of our computer stuff. So we could probably drop those off, and it might pay the $94 to get them a fancy scanner copier.
We may be able to, our copier, I think it's also leased through Google.
Yes, same outfit.
We may be able to transfer that over through them and get them for our office since we
Okay.
print so much, we were over on our color print.
Okay.
So I'll talk with you.
Okay, all right.
Maybe next meeting, we may have that worked out.
All right, that's good. But we'll be discussing that, trying to, streamline and get something better. We'll do that another time. All right,
You're too over here. Already up here.
I guess you're up, Robert.
Yeah.
According to the checkout.
He's on the ball.
Over here.
We'll get it over with.
I don't know where you wanna stay in line with
Yeah,
what's on here.
that's out in our book.
Huh?
That's out in the book.
I emailed you all my proposed pay rates for EMS, and I think the last meeting, I gave you all a breakdown of the surrounding counties pay and all that. And you said we would discuss it.
Is your current number after the 2.5% raise we did at the
The
last?
first line is what the current raise is.
That's
And next line-
with the raise that we just gave?
No, the second one's the 2.5%.
Alright,
Oh,
I follow on what you're doing now.
Okay.
So you got current R2.5 we just gave and you're proposed.
Yes.
Is the difference, the line item that says
The difference is on top of
at
that.
2.5 and proposed,
Is on top of that.
not the difference between.
The final number there is the actual pay rate, because I give you all a breakdown of actually having an actual EMS pay bill.
So how it reads is current is what it is right now, the 2.5 is the 2.5 rate today. And then after, if we adopt this proposed, then that's what that final number is with the proposed. Correct?
I understand that, but is the proposed the difference in current or the difference in 2.5?
The proposed is the difference from the 2.5%.
Right.
That's just kind of where we're at with our surrounding county. I know we're never gonna be close to Jefferson County. This didn't even take into account.
I don't have the other numbers. How close does this proposed rate get us with everybody, in line with everybody, and then a few dollars?
I mean, we're closer. We're not above it.
All I say was, well, I'm just saying, we get on the word with support.
I mean, we're getting within a dollar, so.
what counties did you, I don't remember what counties you used this compare.
Shelby, Bullitt, Nelson. Were the three names that you came back from Anderson.
What about counties that are like more comparable to our demographic? Instead of just being neighboring?
I mean, neighboring is the one we're kind of competing with. So that's why we kind of stick with.
But the neighboring counties, you can fit our county budget into the road department budget. And I'm not really saying this in a negative way, but we need to make sure that, I want to be able to retain people, but the flip, and recruit, but the flip side of the coin is what our pocketbooks are saying. And I don't know, what the totality of these figures is going to do to the budget as a whole over the course of the year. And I don't, for the part-time, I put figures to that to see what these raises are gonna do over the course of 12 months.
Nope. So, can't tell you.
And I mean, and I'm not saying that I'm against it, but I wanna know that figure before I vote on it. That's me personally.
And our the part-time rates are, even taking the paramedics at part-time rates, I'm trying to incentivize getting the part-time paramedics to pick up shifts because it's cheaper to pay them $27 an hour than $30+ an hour.
Right.
For over a paramedic. So that's why that rate's there. The higher rates are for the paramedics are the harder to get. Right. You know, the other ones are, you know, those rates are pretty close to.
I understand, and I understand, like, you wanna be more competitive, I mean, for obvious reasons, for retention, and paramedics are hard to find. But I'd like to see what we project this number to be over the course of the year, and then maybe see if we need to take this in 2 fiscal years to get it to where it needs to be, instead of biting it all off at once. There's some of these numbers here that I think that we probably need some attention done to them, but I think we need just a little bit more information.
The the highest increases are the part-time paramedics. So we're not gonna see a real hit to the budget there because, you know, we'll get them to pick up shifts as opposed to over paramedics.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, if I'm understanding it right, with us doing the higher rate of dispatching on, saving us money in the budget. It's not paying out the overtime.
I think it's.
Well, I mean, but you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to show me that on, you have to show me that on paper.
If it's a wash, it'd be wonderful.
And you're just
I guess what you
anticipating
mean.
that,
I mean, it's pretty much pretty close to be a wash because
paying a part-time paramedic, how much more money, not including our raise, is part-time rate?
$732.
$7.32.
So
You
about
know, they might
saying,
replace some, but if the part-time guy don't wanna work, he's not gonna come work.
well,
Well, the biggest problem I have with part-time paramedics is EMS people notoriously have to work multiple EMS agencies, and they can go to another agency and make $25, $26 an hour and pick up, and we're only paying them $21 an hour. They come, they're not gonna pick up with us, they're not gonna pick the shift up.
If y'all notice, we only got 3
I was gonna say, we only got
Full-time.
3 full-time paramedics, that's,
plus Robert. Robert makes 4. So, with 3, not counting you, Robert, you gotta have a paramedic on all the time. So,
State law requires us to have
Yes.
a paramedic on duty all the time.
at least 1. And of course, if you have 2 ambulances out that need paramedics, then Robert pretty much has to come. But nonetheless, the biggest change to his proposal is for the part-timers.
well, what I was gonna get at is, if we take all the rest of it out and look at that right now, for that, today,
What is it?
Just address the paramedics right now.
I would, what is a full-time paramedic, what's their base salary?
Right now,
1968.
No, I mean their annual base salary.
I can do the calculation here. 65.
So I would, since we only have 3 full-time paramedics, I would suggest that maybe we
More than that, once you
we increase the full-time pay to try to get more full-time people. And that way we don't have to adjust the part-time so much. I mean, when you only have 3 full-time paramedics to cover your whole county,
That's all we have. We staff one a day, and then we staff advanced EMTs on other units, and so if there's kind of a mix. The biggest thing was we have to have the paramedic there every day. So I mean, if we were going to adjust anything right now, I would want to start with adjusting the paramedics pay, full-time and part-time. If you're going to start with anything, the others are.
but I would rather go up a little on the full-time and maybe take it away, go down a little on the part-time in hopes that you're gonna get more full-time people.
If I don't have spots to put them in, then I can't hire anyone. That's the thing,
So you don't need more full-time paramedics right now,
we're fully staffed right now.
that's what I was thinking.
You're fully staffed with 3 paramedics?
1 per day.
What happens if one of them's sick? Then you gotta.
Then I gotta rely on a part-time person picking it up, or mandatory enough.
Yeah, but there ain't no point in having 6 full-time paramedics if you don't have a spot for them every day. You're just paying more money. Essentially.
Well, the benefit is that there's some things that an advanced EMT can't do, that a paramedic can. So if you get in that situation, and we only got 1 paramedic, then you're gonna have to call them out and
we're
know
gonna
where they're coming from, and
We have 3 advanced EMTs starting paramedic class in August. Full-time employees that are advanced EMTs now starting paramedic class.
What are you gonna do with them when they pass?
They'll become paramedics, but that's 2 years from now. Once they finish class and their internships and their clinical times, and I mean, we're 2 years out from that coming to fruition, so.
I have an appetite for what Zach said, which might not be great, but you know, we just did give everyone in the office 2.5% raise. Do you wanna talk about, this is my opinion, but giving the part-time paramedics a raise, I'd entertain that, but.
I think that's the biggest draw right now, being able to try to always pick up the shifts that we're lacking or we helping. This is what makes the most sense to me. It's most-
And the only reason I say start with all the paramedics is because I really need to keep the 3 I have. So I'm trying to get them a little bit more.
That's why they just got a little more.
Yeah, they're still nowhere close to any.
You got to, we talked about this with Andrew, everybody, we're never gonna be Bullitt County, Nelson County, or Walton.
You know, it seems to me like it's
It's not gonna happen.
part-time
Look
paramedic,
at Washington County or Anderson County.
732 is, to me, a little excessive, you know, per hour. I'd like to see maybe, reduce that, lower, and add that to.
What about, I feel going out on a limb a little bit, because I don't have the exact numbers, but I think we can do it. What if we made all paramedics $22.50? Right now. See, that then we would be covering your full times with what you're asking. And then we would be raising the part-timers up from 1968 to 22.50, which is a start. And we can always readdress it if we need to in the future. But I think that would be affordable, and that would be a step forward.
That kind of goes along with what I said. You know, you're kind of biting off half now and maybe reevaluate come 12 months and bite off the other half. Because, you know, we gotta have paramedics, and, you know, if I was doing it part-time and coming in 1968 and I could jump up to 22.50, I'd be pretty happy with that. I mean, yeah, 27 would be better,
And you also have to look at paramedics, they're making 25, 26 at other agencies, and that's why they pick up shifts there. So I can really express the need and tell you what the landscape looks like right now and what we're dealing with, and
as you're supposed to, and we appreciate it.
like I'm supposed to do, and y'all are to ultimately make the decision y'all need to make. And
How hard is it right now, like, if you need to pick up a part-time paramedic, how hard is it?
Right now,
Get that, to pick up somebody? How
they're
hard
not picking up.
We're not getting nobody to look up.
How are you operating?
I mean, they're picking up,
Overtime.
they're picking up periodically, but I mean, we're covered with a lot of overtime. Or I'm picking up the shifts.
There's the other thing, everything Robert says, which I'm not saying it's not, but if this is how it operates. When you raise a full-time paramedic, everything for your 22.50, then you're just paying more overtime. If Robert says no one will pick that up at that rate, which is his guess, essentially, an educated guess, because he sees it every day.
It's a good point.
You're paying more money in overtime.
Good point.
I just know breaking down all the salaries and talking to people and with the staff and everything, and these are the numbers that I just think we need to be at.
You know, I also value our full-time paramedics that are working for us now, because they could be making more elsewhere.
It's something I don't value what they're doing, it's just, we gotta make it all work out the best we can. But
That's true.
When it comes all around, Andrew can step up there next.
Right.
You know, these guys don't get paid, but Bullitt County gets paid. Gotta try to make it.
we gotta try to make it work as best we can, unfortunately, it's hard for them, so.
And these are the
Not that we're
numbers
trying to say that we don't appreciate anybody, we appreciate everybody that works here.
I just know these are the numbers that are keeping us a little bit more competitive, but not at those other counties' rates. So
Do you see a problem with your full-timers? Let's say we approve this. That part-timers, you know, it'll be the devil will be the scheduler, instead of giving somebody overtime, bringing in a part-timer.
I'm already the devil. I give any open shifts out to part-timers first.
You just said,
And they know that's the routine.
we just said another full-timer, just like a floater. Paramedic. I'm just saying, you know, if you talk about overtime, would it be better just to pay another paramedic to cover everything that you need to cover?
Well,
And then we're in
there is kind of
that.
I think there's another agenda item that I didn't get on the agenda that kind of helps with that a little bit.
I think we need to concentrate on getting more full-time paramedics, because you gotta have one every shift. You run 3 shifts. One of them goes to another service, that leaves you.
Well, there's only 2 options, and one of the options is send a paramedic school, which we're doing. And the second option is to fire an EMT or fire an advanced EMT and hire back as a paramedic, which I don't.
You don't have enough vacancies throughout the week to have one other person actually needed. Like, even if the advanced EMT is out, that paramedic can fill a spot, it's making more money.
Not normally.
How many people do you got over there? Per shift,
There's 6 people per day.
Here
Four
today,
of those are 24-hour people, and 2 of those are 12-hour people during the peak time of the day.
yeah, so either way, you're running 6 people a day.
Well, I was thinking if you kind of avoid a little bit of the emergency, you gotta call in somebody, a little bit of,
I didn't make that.
and overtime.
But if there ain't something for you to do, you don't. Well, I mean, I guess that goes to, if you don't have very many vacancies, and you're not looking for very many part-time shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, things are being filled as vacations are filled, or people calling sick, or people take a personal day, or.
Or vacation be almost always a good time to figure it out, and sick day or something.
Yeah, we require 14 days for vacation.
so here's other options we can do. We could take what Robert has, the differences, we can do a fourth of it, we can do half of it, we can do 0 of it. You know, I think Robert would agree it'd be a step in the right direction if you just go down the list here, whatever number is there, do half of it. That would get you closer to where you need to be.
Well, I mean, other than just giving out random money, I get what you're saying. But we can focus on what they really need.
Yeah.
I mean, we just gave 2.5% all of it. Essentially, you're doing the same thing. Again, I'd rather give you money where it's really, really needed if we're gonna get money than just all across the board. We just gave money all across the board.
Well, I know, but I think we've identified, or Robert has identified, it's needed in the paramedic circle.
I do too, so I think we're gonna give anything, that's what it needs to be focused.
All right, well, let's just focus on the paramedics right now then. Y'all wanna give any additional raises to the paramedics? Which seems to be Robert's larger concern. Would that be correct?
And like service across the board for everybody. But, paramedics are a premium, of course, but.
Well, we're gonna be, just throwing this out, six to the wall. 22 for the full time and 25 for the part time.
I would be okay with the 2250 for the full-time and the what was the part-time, you said $5 raise for the part-time.
I said 22 and 25.
22 and 25, so.
Robert has 27, 22.50.
Yeah. I'd
I
say
mean,
the whole 2250 and the 25 would be, I'd be fine with that. I think that's a starting point. But, I mean,
That's a pretty good range.
really, truly, we do need more full-time paramedics. They can do everything, not just.
There you go, John Fleming, part-time paramedic, is 20. Is it tough record here there?
He's been here longer, and there's been no real.
Well, he's currently at 20, and then he's getting 650 raise for the others at 732, but that could make
Does it take some, does it take them all to the same?
All your part-time guys too, paramedic that comes in, they're getting paid overtime, half their shifts or whatever too, right? If they're doing a part-time 24-hour shift.
If they only take up one day, then they're paid straight. Part-time people very rarely going to overtime.
They'd have to get 40 hours. part-timers can't get 100 hours a month, right?
But I think you need to look at a lot of this, so if we're talking about it, but then you have Robert's pay structure, if you start looking back at it, you know, just find that out there, but.
I'm always, I don't give people more money, but I have a problem right now. 30% raises at a time. But.
Well, a lot of it, I think they do it.
You know,
Are you talking about raising $22.50 for everyone?
No,
just paramedics,
Paramedics.
only the ones that are in bold.
And then 25 for the part-time, I think.
What, 25 for part-time paramedics?
Part-time,
What
2250.
about like the full-timers? Advanced?
no, just paramedics.
Right now,
We're kind of just talking paramedics.
What?
I mean, you can talk to them too if you want.
You're talking about 25, correct?
Part-time,
For the part-time, so there's,
What?
Instead of 27, he's asking, it'd be 25.
and while you were gone, we gave everyone on here a 2.5% raise.
I'm gonna make a motion that we increase the full-time paramedic hourly rate to $22 and the part-time paramedic rate to $25.
second,
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, that we make paramedics, part-timers 25, full-timers 22. Any other discussion? I think this is a good start.
That's it.
All right, any discussion on this? Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Squire Ferris,
Yes.
Squire Eldridge,
Yes.
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Cotton,
Yes.
Squire Stone.
Yes.
All right, passes. Let's start, Robert.
You wanna do the thing you handed out?
We came now of the third sheet we just handed around.
James Vanderbilt, he retired last month. He requested to come back. He was our education person, they had on all our in-house education, which those state requirements have increased on us also. We're also doing CPR classes and the high school EMT class that we have did look at us. I like to bring him in as a scheduled part-time person, 3 days a week. He can run under 100 hours a month. And then, yes, that would give us another extra paramedic, 24 hours a week, so that he could float around at the time teaching, he'd be available with it.
motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Zach, second by Dan, to approve hiring James Vanderbilt, part-time. Any discussion?
Yeah, so you're saying he's gonna be a part-timer, but he's gonna work 3 days a week?
8 hours a day, 24 hours a week.
Yeah, so it's really.
And he's gonna be like an administrative.
He's in, yeah, we never filled the deputy chief role, that was a salary position that I was filling before I took over as chief. So instead of hiring back another deputy chief at a full-time salary, we bring him in 3 days a week, give him education and training for the county.
I'm all for it, but the only thing I'll go back to is kind of what Mike said, we're in the budget here, these increases, and then this would be a decent amount of numbers, and what is that, is the budget? Salary wise.
But this is kind of built into the approved salary line that we had.
He was listed, I think he was listed there.
He was initially listed, but he had retired, he just hadn't been taken off the list, he's kind of in there anyway.
Alright.
But this is gonna save you money on training figures, you do it after that.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna have to, I might pay overtime to have somebody that you apply to, but the person that's there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that does those classes.
This
For
will
the high
save us
school.
overtime
Yes,
too, so.
yes. This definitely saves the overtime.
All right. We didn't vote on this yet, did we? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
We just got a lot of very expensive equipment from the state of Kentucky. Probably $90,000 worth of equipment. Got a couple estimates for a trailer. I need to get a trailer to all this equipment around.
That equipment is,
This is a inflatable tent with all the heat and AC and all that stuff that goes with it from the state. That we-
You know how many cartloads? Because I forgot. You
There's
guys like,
3 parts over there. It's all sitting in the maintenance garage now.
What do you call it, cart?
A cart that's
all wheels with all
probably
this.
half the size of that table.
We don't have no extra trailers, recyclables, or anything like that. They could be-
Not a box trailer. And I'm worried of.
I mean, this tent is an inflatable tent. It weighs like 700 pounds.
Well, I mean, I told Robert to get a price. The one has a back that lets down.
Well, I don't know for what it means, but so what you got, how often would you use it? Not the trailer, but that's the equipment you got.
I get that, when they put it in, I mean, they put this there, it's, again, emergency management, it's all about planning, so it's part of being prepared. We could use it 20 times a year, we could use it.
this would be like a staging area, so basically, just one.
I mean, it would probably be a major disaster or a mass casualty kind of thing. I mean, the options are, when this happens, you steal Brian's trailer, you put it all on it. Or we have a trailer that it's on. That could be used for other things too. If you unloaded this stuff, you could use it for other.
Well, I mean, I still think it's gonna be,
Expected me to be against it, okay, but I'm not. And I know somebody buy a trailer, but in the case of a natural disaster or major incident, emergency medical incident, your stuff needs to be loaded in a trailer, and all you gotta do is hitch to it and go, and respond to what you need to do. It's not, we need to get the lawnmowers off the trailer, or get this loaded up, I bet this person, that person was coordinated, because at the very beginning, when you're trying to get this stuff deployed, then it's game. And I think that this is a good idea. And we didn't like it.
Since I've taken over, we have greatly increased our emergency management footprint, I would say, in the region and in the county. And we've gotten a lot of equipment. We're probably approaching $200,000 worth of equipment that the county did not have to pay for that has been given to us. And I feel like that. The cost of that trailer is $5,700 now, $5,600, but I feel like a $5,700 trailer for the amount of equipment that, and we'll still get more, we'll have plenty of room to put the stuff in it, but, you know, I don't have any place to.
I appreciate everything you've got, and Mike, I think that's a good point, but in the face of, something like that happens, is the first thing that you need to worry about getting pulled up there and inflate where it's count.
Well, I'm just saying, it's on the short list of things, but if you ain't gotta worry about it, then you can focus on the things that's higher priority. That's my thing, is emergency
You're
management.
not pulling manpower away, but do something else. You're pulling, if you keep everybody stationed, you're sending somebody down there to hook up and go.
I'm just saying natural disaster is first priority, in my opinion. I have no experience in EMA whatsoever. It's there because you can.
Well, I mean, if you have a flash flood event that happens in the middle of summer like we did last Saturday, and we need to put people in the air conditioned tent to hot and this place is home. That's pretty important.
And I think Robert would agree, so having your stuff mobile, loaded, ready to go in the case of an emergency is a pretty common standard practice amongst all emergency management agencies.
I mean, my whole purpose is,
You have a trailer right now that's set up for EMA
that has
That's plumb full of stuff,
generators, lights, stuff like that, and
necessities, ready to go.
it's full to the brim.
Only caveat to what I said earlier would be, is there a cheaper, maybe a used option, the old option, something like that? I mean, I know split hairs on $5,700. I think it needs to be in this trailer. I think we need to have a trailer, but I don't know if there's a cheaper option than what we got. You have a lot more equipment right now that go in a trailer that's not in a trailer, or not at the moment.
What do you have in the ambulance? We used to have an ambulance as one of these, but since we're getting rid of the ambulance.
Surplus, it's gonna bring $800.
And that equipment won't fit in there.
It won't fit, never really fit in a 7x16 cargo frame?
Yeah.
And that ambulance bed is 12 foot, is it, or not? It should be 12 foot.
Inside of it's got a cabin.
Yeah, it's a tiny little box in the back. Are you volunteering to come over and help us with the $500-600 tent into the back of the ambulance that's high off the ground?
For sure, I'd be happy to.
Well, we had an ambulance that was like a rapid response a couple years ago, well, since we've been here.
Yeah.
That had equipment in it. So that stuff.
That equipment has been moved
to the other trailer. And the other trailer is full.
Yeah. We built shelves and all that.
But you got stuff sitting right now waiting to go
in the maintenance shed, yes.
And that other ambulance is now empty or it's been surplus?
It's been surplus.
And we have two, we're gonna surplus in the next
auction.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
They're ready to go to the surplus.
Did you get the tires changed?
They're working on that now.
Okay. One of those has a jump turbo, the other one runs just all correct.
Well, the reason we took it out of service is that it had about $4,000 worth of airbag issues. That the airbags could go off at any time. They seem to make us think of something.
I agree with what Mike was saying, and so I'll make a motion that we purchase the trailer that he's got distributed for approximately $5,700 to store the equipment.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Jim, seconded by Dan, to approve up to $5,700 to purchase a trailer to store Robert's equipment. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Me.
All right, motion passes. All right, Robert.
And the last thing I have is Carter Rome Levy has obtained his advanced EMT. So whatever his pay rate is now, it's $1.50 on top of that. I don't know what it is.
You got $21 an hour listed, is it higher than that?
No, it will be
That was
2062.
Yeah, 2062.
That other is if we get approved.
I got to get it taken in.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a motion, or go ahead.
I'm just gonna say motion to approve.
All right, I'll second it. So we got a motion by Will, second by myself, to move Connor Brumleve to advanced EMT. New pay will be 2062. He already is full-time with us.
All right.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
That's all for me.
Good work, Robert. And I want to thank publicly with the flood that we had a week ago. Thank the Lord we didn't have it Saturday. Had perfect weather Saturday, other than it was hot. But the sheriff's office, the EMS, the local fire department, the city police. I'm gonna forget somebody, and I do. I'm sorry. The city of Taylorsville's folks out. Our road department, the parks department. We had some damage at Waterford Park. Ray Jewell Park, I think, totally escaped. Is that about right?
Never seen no water.
Yep. And but Waterford just got hammered, and one fence washed out, all the mulch washed out. Brian is on it. They had it cleaned up. Like
I go by there a
Tuesday.
day or two afterwards and it looked pretty good.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of mulch left in the playground, and what was in the swing set got washed out into the parking lot, but they scooped it back up in there. It's probably getting dry enough now where they can get in there again. But nonetheless, everyone came together. I took a little heat for declaring an emergency early. But when I look on Facebook, the water's going over 44 on Dustman Creek. I don't know that I've ever seen that, and I've lived with water for my whole life. And when the fire department was out here going towards Shelbyville, the car had washed off the road. I knew that things was gonna be bad. And, so I made the declaration early and then, got out looking and we've got damage all around. A lot of garages got flooded that are along the creek behind houses. I guess a few houses that got in, but all in all, everybody came together and, the flood wall guys, they was over here pumping the water out of town because, you know, they was calling for another 4 inches of rain that afternoon. And we'd really been in a pickle if we'd gotten that, but luckily it went south. But, I mean, it was kind of looking like 1997 all over again, what I thought. But, anyhow, kudos to all parties, coming together and, keeping us safe. So that might have been the most uneventful disaster. I don't know, those words kind of repeat. But nonetheless, I think we recovered quickly because everybody acted quickly.
You got us a lot of attention.
Yeah, Robert has on national TV or,
I make Good Morning America, I mean the others.
yeah. So, but nonetheless, it was sure bad Saturday morning. Everybody needed to stay home last Saturday for sure. All right, last, we have the sanitation, has a draw invoice, sanitation district, page 104, down at the bottom. We need to approve a draw of 22,000 to HMB, and this will be part of the original large draw that they got, early on. If y'all recall, we did another draw not too long ago,
66,000.
something like that.
Motion to approve.
All right, there's a second?
Second.
Motion by Zach, second by Jim to approve, for the sanitation district of 22,000 for engineering services.
Corey, do you know if, any of this stuff, so like it says the geotech's 100%, I guess we paid that at some point in time. Have you guys seen, or I shouldn't say you guys, but do you know if the sanitation district has seen, like, it says the design's 40% complete, have they seen any of the work?
I think they have, and then I think it's actually, bids or indication for bids going out this week, I think, for, the plant.
The plant or the pump station? One of the two?
Yeah, one of the two. I'm not up to speed. I'll be up to speed by tomorrow.
I was just making sure, you know, it's all.
Yeah, they
pay attention
give-
to this money too, that we're seeing some
I
progress.
think just about every month HMB's provided updates plans and updates for the district.
All right, any other discussion? Got a motion and a second on the floor? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Before we get out of this,
Oh, can I speak on that?
Yeah.
That's just a memorandum that I got from ATF. I just wanted to get to you all. I'll read it so I can read it to you. It's basically just a partnership with the ATF, part of our range. I met them out there. They were looking for a place to be able to train their guys, and they wanted to partner with us. They want to help us out financially, part of upkeep on the range. Just recently, was up with the Connex, and we also got a Connex donated from Jefferson County Sheriff's Office that we picked up. I got both those boxes dropped this weekend. They're set up now. But the ATF is going to help us out with training, specialized training, stuff like that. Every year they get some money we put towards training and upkeep. They're willing to help us out with that. So that's just kind of a memorandum I want to present to you all, and I'll pass that out to the fair board as well.
Yeah, basically, of course, you know, the fair board, we own the fairgrounds, but the fair board has a possession, lease agreement with us. So, Andrew went with them and they approved everything Andrew has. Basically this, 20-foot, it's one of these new ones, the one that we only had to purchase half of it.
Right.
Which is $1,500, so, we approved that, and I approved that, and, so they're getting in, and then he got another free one. And wanted to make sure that it was sitting where the fair board wanted it, because it affects their fair, and, they met with Andrew, and, the road guys put some gravel down the other day. That way they can put all their stuff in there when they do they don't have to pack it all in the truck and put it somewhere else.
Right.
It can stay on site and stay dry, and they can keep it locked up. And, the biggest benefit is we got a place to train, and now some other departments, I guess federal, will have places to train, and we can possibly train with them. And then our city police can use it also. So to me, it's a win all around, keeping all of us trained up, because training is required. So I thought it was a very good deal. Appreciate getting this document here for us.
We also got approved that, league grant, that Homeland Security grant for the pistols and all that, so I can't remember, how much that was.
It's I want to say $9,600 or something dollars, I think.
We got approved for that, so.
And we got approved for that. I did documentation on it the other day, the grant day.
That's it.
Good job. All right, appreciate that, Andrew. I have on here, Farmers Market, Pavilion, Splash Park. Yes.
There was another one in here for fiscal song.
Yes.
Packet.
Yes.
Did you want to cover that?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember where I put it.
That's all that's passed this week.
It's on in the agenda. Okay.
Farmer Market and Splash Market.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, do want to have, we will have an executive session today, but, I do want to discuss, Farmers Market. Jim and I had a little bit of discussion this morning in advance, but, I had a meeting with the elders and their builder the other day, and, came in the office and we discussed, the time frame, and I made it clear to them that August 11th is still the date that we're going by. They had, one had a difference of opinion. He thought we had an agreement. I said, no, we didn't have no agreement. You didn't agree to your side of that agreement, so that agreement's void. And, so, got him educated. But nonetheless, you know, that, as of right now, that date is still intact. The only way that date will ever change is it'll have to come before this commission, this board, this court, to address that. So, and I made it crystal clear that the community, the anticipation of the community is quite large as to why nothing's happening out there, and that stuff needs to be happening, that we need to make a showing. And when you come to us with requests and things, and there's nothing happening, it's really hard to make a sale. So, but nonetheless, if you have noticed, I mean, I don't know why they worked Saturday, but they did. They were out there working Saturday. I appreciate they worked Saturday. And they started getting it ready to pour concrete. So they promised that we will see some big moves here real soon, and we don't have any requests for payment today. So that won't be part of the discussion. One thing we will need to consider as we go forward is, here's another question I asked them. We had some discussion about where the buildings are placed, and they made a good point. They're probably correct. I laid down the drawings that we paid for, all the architectural stuff, the big scroll. I laid it on the desk, and I said, this says the buildings were to be 24 feet apart. And even the bid package had 24 feet apart on the drawings that we did. Now, the Hagan Engineering had them 4 feet apart. Not sure what went down there, but I said, why are you building 4 feet apart when all the drawings except Hagan said 24 feet? And he said I wanted to get you guys' opinion that kind of do this work. You know, he said when we bid it, we had to bid it on what the value of the site plan called for. And since the Hagan Engineering was the site plan, it had them 4 feet, that's how he did it. So, we did have that discussion. You don't have any thoughts on that?
You should have did it for what the site plan said. But if I was the contractor, then the totality of the project, one said 24 feet, one said 4 feet. If I did the site work for 4 feet, I did the whole thing for 4 feet, which would include fire suppression because that building's only 4 feet away. I wouldn't did the site work at 4 feet and the general construction at 24 feet.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Well, that puts us in a position if we can accept, and I feel that's where we are, and I haven't talked to Corey and Cheryl about this, but y'all can chime in, where they bidded on the site work, which included all the earthwork.
Which included, you know, construction of the buildings too.
Correct. It, basically, they didn't bid it with fire suppression in the second building. But since it's 4 feet, as the site plan said, it has to have fire suppression, which is required. So that's why we have a change order. So basically, we're gonna have to discuss this change order in the future, whether to pay it or not. And if we don't, we'll see what our options are as we move along. Because it has to be sprinkled if it's 4 feet.
You know, I think this 4 foot thing falls on Hagan, okay? All the information we sent Hagan to begin with said 24 foot. And I got it right, it says 24 foot. And why they put it 4 foot, I don't know. But I don't think it's up to us to have to, look at what they did with a microscope to make sure it matches us. I mean, we paid them to do what we wanted them to do. They screwed up. I think Hagan did. All right. So, what's the cost of moving the building now back to 24 feet versus $80,000 for a sprinkler system, which we would not? Will it cost $80,000 to move that building?
Elders tell me yes.
But would it be the same? Would it be a wash?
No, they said, and I didn't get deep in the weeds because I wasn't getting anywhere really. But moving the building to me did seem like a cheaper option. The sprinklers, I believe, was 60 something. There was, I forget what the other addition was, why it's 80, but nonetheless, the sprinklers is a little more than the first building because it has to be dry.
I think the alarm system was what the additional cost for the alarm sprinkler.
You're correct. You're correct. The alarm was at made 80. Yeah. All right. So, they said, you know, if we move it, we're gonna gotta do more with the clay. I gotta put 15, 20 more feet of blacktop of rock. I said that's gotta be cheaper than 60, 80,000. Then I was thinking cheaper than 60,000.
Well, then again, if he's going to save 24 feet of blacktop, is he going to deduct that?
No.
Off the total?
Included is blacktop at 4 feet. So if you move it 20 more feet, you gotta put 20 more feet of blacktop on both sides of the building. So,
On one side of the building.
it's parking lots on both sides.
The left and right.
In the back.
The front parking lot's not gonna change, but those dimensions stay the same.
Yeah, but there's parking on the
The
north and the south.
So the width of the building's not changing. North is that way, south's that way.
Yes.
It's east and west.
And the buildings are 4 feet. When you move them 20 feet, then this parking lot,
You're gonna have a parking lot in between that building, all asphalt. It doesn't matter.
well,
It would also be all concrete.
Well, I'm thinking between them buildings. you have like some sort of green space or something.
And I know we kinda had some discussion and kinda landed on letting it be the 4 feet, because, I mean, we're gonna have to, well, we've got, you know, the other option is go after somebody for something we think is incorrect, which is not easy. Or we pay for sprinklers, or we pay a little to move the building. I mean, that's the 3 options.
Well, let's think about it, we're ain't even cross that bridge at the moment.
Yeah, well,
Well, again, I think we concentrate on the building, on the front building. Get there.
yes,
August 11th is gonna be here.
yes. All right, moving past that to the splash park. Okay, the reason that I want to, discuss it is I think we've kind of landed, and I feel very comfortable about us getting approved for the land and water grant. We've already voted to apply for the land and water grant. The reason that we need to, get some figures down on this splash park is the land and water grant can be matched by a state grant called GRANTS grants. It stands for something. But we got approved for it a year ago, but we didn't get the land and water grant for Radio 2.0, so we lost 400-some thousand. It came from Washington, Frankfurt, and Frankfurt chose not to give it to Spencer County. Now, this year, that was the land and water. This year, the land and water should be easy as pie, because many counties have gotten land and water to do a splash park. And so we can go ahead and pursue our splash park, on the same area that we've kind of concluded. So we need to get some prices down. And I would, you know, we need to think about while we're doing it, because potentially, the land and water, grant, that other, I mean, I think you can get up to $1 million. Not that that's what we need to ask for. But we got approved for $400,000 at the grants program last year. I'm not gonna say that we need to go after $800,000.
Yes.
But if we do, then we need to figure out all that we want in there. So, go ahead, Mike.
Me and you talked in your office, and I reached back out to Jennifer Burge, and, she's getting back with me. Our original, pricing, it was, like $523,000 for the splash park. And, but then that didn't include the work that me and Will was talking about that the county was gonna do as far as doing like the pump house and, you know, and.
The building was additional.
Yeah.
30 or 40,000.
I think we figured was an extra $150,000, something like that, in order to do our side of the work, to work in conjunction with, Bluegrass. And then you expressed an interest of putting, a playground.
Potentially, yeah.
And then
Probably 30 to 50,000 for.
you had those options that came to you in that sale book.
Yes.
And they offer that. I mean, your book is what they offer. She didn't inform me of that, and she said that she can, even though that sale has expired, they are still honoring all those prices, and she can get, the one that she was looking at for that price. And, she also believes now if we bundle that together, playground with the white park, that, we could probably get it for the same price or a little bit less. She just has to, she's gonna double check and have figures back with me, within, 30 days here to make sure that none of the components for the splash pad portion of the bid has increased. But we should.
Number you're knocking on all day.
The good news is, I don't think that we're gonna have much of an increase, hardly at all, even though, you know, her bid expired on April 6th, but she feels confident that it's gonna be very minimal on price increases. She's gonna get back with me and we can discuss that.
We talked about the pickleball courts under that back building. Is that something that we thought into that grant? Looks like it could be. It probably could be. So, I think the grant, we were to ask for as much as the grant could possibly be.
Well, for me and Will talking to her and what's involved in Google Splash, and our portion of it, I think Will would agree that the totality of the splash park, playground, and what we're responsible for is gonna be right around, what, 800,000, 750,000, 800,000. So if you think you know, maybe able to get more with that grant, that you could apply for, stuff like that, that's fine, but I think we should keep in mind, we have a pretty good size figure to start with. Just
But
to get the-
you know, if you had pickleball courts do that, that would add to the cost, which would justify asking for more.
Yeah.
Well, and we can, well, the reason that I bring it up today is the application window for that grants is open now. And we got approved last year because we applied in advance. The pot of money there is not as good as it was a couple years ago or a year ago.
When does that window close?
Well, see, the land and water, I don't think opens till this fall. Well, soon. I don't think it's open today. I could be wrong, but it wasn't open last week, you know, when we talked about it before. However, we needed to get our figures on paper so we can apply for the grants part of it. And then when we get approved for it, then when the land and water, we get approval for it, we'll be good to go.
Well,
So we gotta get figures on paper.
she said she might be able to have them by our next meeting, so I'll make another communication with her and see if we can get that done by the next meeting, so we'll have some figures on paper.
You know, example, in the past court, down right, on the road money, discretionary money, came up with like $500,000 to ask for. And we had a lot more roads that needed money. So we decided to ask for the maximum to fit all the roads, which is 1.3 million. We got 1.3 million. If we hadn't asked for it, we wouldn't have got it. So.
Yeah, I'm just, the only thing I was saying is, if you're thinking about that, then you need to get figures on paper too, what it takes to make those pickleball courts in that area that you're thinking about putting.
I've researched them, and you can get paint and paint the floor. And then they have, all of the nets.
Portable. All of that for $100 a piece, you can buy the portable nets, like between the court.
Yeah.
And also buy them to block off, so you don't knock the ball over in the parking lot. $100 a piece, you know, I think it was $1,600 or $1,600 needed or something like that. But, and then I researched the pickleball court paint, and one of the main things everybody said was, you gotta make sure that it's done in a professional way because of the liability for people slipping on it. You know, you can't just put epoxy paint down.
I would call your pickleball Washburn Lane.
Last hoorah.
It's the fastest growing sport in the United States.
Well, I'd like to see this grant focus just on the splash pad because we see so many communities around us that are getting it just for that. And I think if you just start throwing, we just keep throwing multiple things at it, I think you're gonna be less likely to get the grant.
I think those grant people will put those things in there if you ask for it. If you don't ask for it.
Let's get some costs, and then we'll ask Felicia Kipta what she thinks. Now, I mean, I recommend that whatever she tells us that we should ask for, we ask for or don't ask for. If she says you need to ask for this and we want this, we probably need to ask for this. But she'll advise us as to what, you know, I got a real good argument that says we should get 270,000 because Trimble County got 270,000. And then the grants matched, or 40, whatever it was, they put in a splash park for about 500,000. And they paid, it was 400-some thousand, almost 500. They paid $40-some hundred out of their budget. And those two grants paid for the rest of it. So it's a pretty good argument to say we should get what they got. And, you know, I'm comfortable that should happen. So, now are they on the estate price thing, so we don't have to bid it?
So there's two ways. They're a member of Sourcewell, which I think we've lost up through Sourcewell before, and they also now have state contract pricing. And which they didn't have when we initially discussed it, but now she's going back and she's looking at the state contract pricing versus Sourcewell and making sure that the numbers work so we get the best price. So that's in part of that. Hopefully I can have that.
All right, yeah, we will need all that because that'll cover our procurement issues. So
we're not really going to have a procurement issue. She's just trying to figure out which avenue through the
You'll get the best price.
It gets the best price, yes.
All right, well, if she can have all that by our next night meeting, which is in 2 weeks, that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
That way we can get some things on paper and go ahead and get it turned in for the grants program.
Okay, I'll get on it.
All right, good discussion. All right, now, on page 105, which is that of the physical assault, we had a discussion in the office this morning about this, and this is one thing we did at a special call meeting that we approved. It's supposed to be $100 per user, gonna be $500 total. That's not what it is. It's going to be $7,200. It's $100 per month. So I asked the question, then I asked them to sell it to me, so I could try to sell it to y'all. But basically what it is, where our servers, we used to have the hardware sitting in the corner, we are now backed up in the cloud. And this is a necessary piece of equipment to make that work properly. So that was an error on our part. It's a big difference actually, but it was an error on our part. So I said, and convinced me you gotta have it, and they did. So, don't have any questions on that?
We need a motion to do that.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion by Zach, seconded by Jim, to approve the correct pricing for the physical soft cloud hosting equipment, which is up to $7,200. That was your motion?
It was.
All right. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, here's something real important coming up, this resolution. This is one of those deals that's not as good as what y'all got, Jim, when you got that 1.3. But we did put on, used to be called discretionary, now it's called the LARC. And we have to do a resolution, which is on page 107, that Lynn and I have to sign. And then there's an agreement basically goes with it afterwards. We have to turn in this resolution to the state of Kentucky, and we'll get $476,800 to do blacktopping. And we can't lay one stone until we get this resolution in and get approval back from them.
Well, this resolution to the 476, what you asked for.
No, we asked for more, but on page 109, there's a list of roads. And it's been so long, when we put all this together, of course I read through them there, we turned in more roads than that, but the state has to come out and make sure they're junky enough. They had to be like 8, 9s, and 10s or something like that. We didn't get them all approved, but we got all these approved. So we'll need a motion to pass the resolution and accept the agreement with Commonwealth Kentucky and the County of Spencer.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the resolution, number 1, with fiscal court and Commonwealth Kentucky for the LARC money, $476,800, to be used on several roads in Spencer County. And this will be for the agreement and the resolution. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So when we get this turned in and get the final approval back, and I don't know, Laura, if you can sign for Lynn. So here is my side. And we'll get that signed and sent in, then we can get the blacktop started. All right. Next, we have the presentation from the Health Department of the tax rates. Dan and I were in lots of discussion at meetings. And basically, this is, they're presenting their tax rates to us. And I forget, do we have to just approve or move to accept them, or we just acknowledge them? Laura, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. Maybe Karen is watching in the office. So,
I'm not sure. I don't remember if you all ever voted on it.
Okay, all right. Well, and it's not a deadline today either, so, but I do wanna put them in there and we'll, I guess we'll include them in the minutes or we'll take action next time. But, basically, they have been charging 4 cents for years. And,
I see the wheels on that.
yeah, I've tried to get more than, I've tried for 3.5 unsuccessful. And, they are still in the process of putting a program together to take some of the money that they have and, do that program with the middle school students. It's worth about 300,000. They're still aiming to do that. And then, you're correct. They acted like it would start this fall, a year ago. But we were deep in this conversation. We didn't bring it up much, Dan. Do you remember us talking about it?
They put it on hold because they were in line to get a grant to help fund part of that, and that came through. So, now they're back on track
To get it going. And then there was one other thing that I don't remember what it was. There was
How
one
much
other.
was the grant for, you know? 300,000?
No, it wasn't 300,000. But,
Well, it was for mental health.
mental health, yeah.
Yes, it was for mental health.
Yeah.
And, we put, well, it might be in these minutes, but, yeah, 100,000 for mental health for the school still has to be approved by the district. So yeah, that was the other, so they do have a couple of beneficial uses, for the funds. So, again, the health department should not be in the business of piling up money, just in case they need it one day, they need to be having uses for it. So we do have a few uses for it, but we did, yeah, it's not 4 cents, it's 3.9. Just a little bit. But, we won't take action on that, because again, it's early in the season. That's the first one. All right, I have a couple things from Victoria. We had an issue the other day. I don't know, Zach, y'all can kind of share this. Jim, me and you might share one.
I've got one.
Oh, you got one? Yeah, you got one over there. And then there's some, these are some things that Victoria gave me. We had a EMS fellow who got attacked by a dog on the run the other day. And so we had lots of discussion about what to do with these dogs, or dog. And, you can see the KRS 258.235 says, number 1, any person without liability may kill or seize any dog which is observed attacking any person. So that's what the law says right now. So, now, people will hear me read that and they may not like it, but I'm imagining one of the county employees out in the middle of the street with a dog trying to bite him, trying to bite his hand off or wherever he got bit. I don't know where he got bit, but nonetheless, when we have one of our employees get attacked by a dog, we got to take some action. He had to have hospital treatment, I believe. Robert, everything gonna be okay?
Yeah, I got antibiotics.
All right, so, there's several things at play. You have to wonder if the dog is current on its shots and he had rabies or not. And the other thing is, in my opinion, somebody needs to come get the dog because there should be a responsible party. Because the dog is your property, it's someone's property. So, but basically right now we have 4 dogs from that location because when the fellow left in the ambulance, there were no owners there, I believe, on site. And it was a very hot day and they had to have fresh water and things, so we brought them back to the shelter, and they're still at our shelter. Which, by the way, our shelter it runneth over with animals. We do have a few cats. She's going through the cats pretty good. They have people come and get the cats all the time, but we still have this hoarding case of dogs that we've had for months that had puppies, and now the puppies are getting bigger, so we're building more cages, and buying more netting for shade, and having to keep extra people to work, because you gotta feed them on Saturday and Sunday right on. But nonetheless, Victoria and I had a lot of discussion about what we need to do. If you look on next to the last page, and we can discuss this, we do not have to vote on this today. But when we change our policy, it would be an ordinance, according to Cheryl, y'all correct me, and that would take 2 readings. But if you look next to the last page, added language is, if any county employee is bitten or attacked by an aggressive animal, the animal is to be taken immediately into custody by animal control and impounded in the shelter in a humane manner for a 10-day bite quarantine. When the owner is identified, they will be responsible for all costs associated with their pet while it's housed at the shelter. All right, that kind of goes with the KRS there that I read. I guess that's the most nice way to say what I read. But Andrew, if y'all I'll say this and people will hate me for it. If you got a dog going to eat somebody, they probably need to be shot. So if you've got a dog at your house that could possibly eat somebody's arm off, you need to think about your dog. Because I sure wouldn't want you living with the guilt of injuring or killing somebody, with your pet. So I'll just kind of open this floor for discussion, see what anybody has to say. And
so does she just want to add this whole section to the KRS, or just what you just read? I don't have nothing else.
No, just she said, and again, I didn't research this because this happened from last Thursday or Friday till today, and we was doing a party in town. And I really didn't discuss. I didn't look it up real close because I've been busy.
Well, tell her to send us all her changes, and we'll do it next meeting.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with that. I think this is her changes is just this line.
Well, that's it. But is this whole KRS in our policy?
I want it to be on policy.
Well, it's in the law.
Well, KRS is what it says, that's what the law says.
I understand.
She
the
just
law
puts that
says
in
we
there.
have our own separate policy as well.
Well, is this whole thing new, or is just the part?
It's not new at all because this KRS that I read is from before.
No, I'm talking about our ordinance.
Oh, this is what we have to have. Each department has their policies, and this is an animal control policy. And she added under section 7 that last paragraph.
So that's the whole change?
That's what she said. That's the only thing that changed. But again, I haven't got the old policy out and studied it. But, we can do it at the next meeting. I got no problem waiting. And that'll give Corey and Cheryl some time to.
This dog is the EMS person in 10-day quarantine now.
He's at our shelter.
He said he was.
Well, he's at our shelter, and he need not leave for the 10 days for sure. So
The problem was there was so much confusion on when this all happened, as far as taking the dogs. Once we finally got control of the scene, got control of the dogs, it was just a mess.
And they had to post at the site, these are local people that live in the home. They had to post notices to say that they were going to take the dogs and appropriate water, and food, because of the heat, because they were in pens that were closed and the pens were secure at that point. So I think you all put them in pens and secure. Animal control is aware of another homeowner or occupant of the home that would be home after, say, 5 p.m. So she put posts up on the doors, the kennels, and whatnot about the dog. And I wasn't aware the dog was been picked up. But
So were we next door at a scene or something, and a dog come across?
No, we were responding to that residence.
Oh. The center of the.
Two dogs ran loose.
The actual owner of the residence said that paid the dogs, but the dogs belong to the cousin that lived in the trailer on that property, a camper trailer.
And I think that one of the people was taken to the hospital at the time, so they were left alone for a period of time.
Yeah, the owner of the dog was taken to the hospital, is that correct? All right. So, everything ain't just easy, guys. It gets fuzzy.
The one thing I would say is, you know, it's in that section 7, which applies directly to vicious dogs. And, or you could tell me, maybe we need to add some language there. And there's nothing in the definitions that provides a definition of a vicious dog.
I think what they were looking at may have been, and again, I got this when it's passed out just 2 minutes ago. I think that the language is tracking from the statute, but that's the statutory language. A vicious dog has to be deemed vicious by district court. So it's got to go through the court process.
Oh, okay.
Vicious dog. I think the intended
Okay, I get you.
target here is for if county employees are in. But again,
I didn't catch it.
I think there can be other policy changes as well, but we'll discuss with Scott.
Yeah, we'll dig into it and bring something back that we all agree on. But I wanted to need to bring it up today to get us started in that direction. Victoria has one other, I don't have enough of these to pass out, to you. Of course, and me, y'all are aware at the animal shelter that I have a fellow from the road that's been helping down there with this hoarding case. And then one lady resigned, and so that left her one short. So they were interviewing to fill this one. Of course, in the meantime, we have hired a co-op student. Now she's full-time, and she's sworn in as an animal control officer. But while they were interviewing to fill the one that left, they landed on a fella, and my plan is, and Victoria assured me that we can, is that the one fella will go back to the road department and only come down here as needed, which shouldn't be as needed. They have a fella here that they interviewed that they'd like to also have full time. So his name is Matthew James, and they interviewed, and that's the recommendation. So we will then have Victoria and Audrey there, along with Matthew James. We'll have 3 full-time animal control folks, and then we won't need the help from the road department. So she would like us to agree to hire Matthew James at $18 an hour, pending all the hiring requirements, for full-time at the animal shelter.
I'll make that motion, with all the regulations for his hiring.
All right, motion by Jim, second by Zach, to offer Matthew James full-time animal control officer position at $18 an hour, pending all hiring requirements. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, we got a speed limit ordinance. Let's see. This will be a second reading. It's in the book on page 131. If y'all remember, we talked about taking it down to 25 on Inner Lane, and we had some real good discussion on it, where it is a dead end road and not a through road.
Where is this at?
Up here at the lake.
You pulled it up on the map. We all went back. I can't find it on the map now.
It's 2450, all the way back 2450 past Blue Drive on it.
Oh, it's up there in Ashes Creek area.
Yes, yeah, on this side of the lake. But anyhow, I think we determined there was like 12 or 13 residents. And so today being a second reading, if approved, it'll go into effect. So we have that on the floor at this time.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Dan, to approve the second reading of ordinance. This will be ordinance 1, changing down to 25 from 35 on County Road 1071, which is Ingram Lane. And this is the second and final reading. Motion for approval. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Here's another for Lynn to sign. And then, okay. Next on the agenda is, this Brownfields site access agreement. All right, Kipta brought a couple folks down, and there's funding for this. And they had a map of different places in town where, once upon a time, they had maps from 1895, 1905. Once upon a time, there was houses where you stored coal, where there might be a fuel tank here, might have been a filling station there. They had lots of places in town. And doesn't mean that they're bad at all. They were just on this map. And, you know, you all know our town. Jim, you may remember better than I, and I may remember better than the younger guys, different things in town. But nonetheless, they came and wanted to chat about there's funding if any of these places need to be cleaned up. Well, you know, there's, on this map, there's a place in the middle of the church. So I'm like, I ain't gonna dig that one up because you'll be digging the church up. There are sidewalks. You know, where the train track used to run out this way, there's a lot of coal buildings out by some city property. So they were like, all right, what about county property? What do you all have? So here's where we kind of landed, and this may help us as we try to get a new courthouse. The old jail and the building that is attached to the jail, this agreement that they're asking for, they landed on it, because this will all be paid for. And if we do get approved, and I know Representative Tipton will be working hard on it again in 2 years, about us getting our judicial center, then if they don't change their plans, those buildings would be tore down. So before they tear them down, they'd have to do this evaluation anyway. So we walked out and looked at it, and they was like, yeah, this would be good. So if we agree to let this Atlas Technical Consultants do their evaluation of this property, that'll be a step actually that gets us ahead of where we are today. So
What's the brownfield part of it?
well, that's how the money gets. They got federal money or state money into a pool. I guess it's federal because it's EPA stuff through KIPTA. KIPTA is helping administer it, and that's the word that they attach to lots of these things. Like if you look here, A, B, and C. You know, survey of asbestos-containing material, on-site observation of environmental. You know, if you can see things, then the A there, investigation of soil, groundwater. Basically, they want to walk in the building and see.
Well, they want to do more than that. They want to drill holes in it, test pits, groundwater monitoring wells. Only thing I'd say, so if you do this, and you know, say we do get a courthouse in 2 years, and they start in a year or 10 months, and you know you got this agreement signed, and they start holding up progress. I'm not for this.
Okay.
Well, you know, why wouldn't the state do the same study when they do it? So they would. The state may say, well, you know, we're not even going to die on that one. We're going to do our own.
It could.
Do we really need to do it?
That's why I brought it to you all.
They do this study and determine the cost of the ground and they pay to clean it up. Is that what this is?
They will get funds to remedy it.
What's the remedy if you guys tear the building down?
Well,
Or they might say that when I might not get a courthouse, and they'll say, well, you gotta tear this down and clean it up.
My suggestion, if we assume that the road department won't do it,
But anyway, so it's
Yeah,
just,
there's a lot of coal up there.
right?
well,
You know, I don't think anybody's gonna,
Make it pay to get rid of this.
would agree to have that courthouse, or that jailhouse.
well, there's a few, on, you know, and I get it, but nonetheless, Kipta came, and Kipta does a lot of good work for us. And Felicia and Jennifer Wilson came with two folks. And this fella had actually worked here in town. He had actually worked here in town before, like when the Teacup used to be a gas station, they had to do this. And, you know, they did it because he was caught doing it right there back in the 90s, this fella. So,
Well, like I said, I'm kind of with Will. I feel like this could potentially hold up progress if that was to come. I don't want to
yeah.
cause us to be knocked off the list. But in the same sense, I like the idea of getting that money. Like I said, I think that we've got a huge mess up there we got to deal with at some point. And if it'll work up there,
Well, I will consult them, but we'll just pass on this one today because it specifically is for that site there. So I'll discuss with them. Everybody good with that move? Okay. Now, we have, you guys came, talk, now we're at your part. Try to get you out here before lunch. Appreciate you all coming down from Golden Crossings. But nonetheless, what I need to do, and again, I'll have to get to Corey and legal to help draft an ordinance. They basically, they had the stop signs up, and the poles, I think, are still there. And there wasn't physical court approval to get those on county roads, so road foreman instructed to take them down. Well, they are asking to put them back up, and if we do an ordinance, then they can put them back up, there'd be no cost to us. So I will have we'll have an ordinance drafted for the next meeting. It'll be a first reading of adding, putting stop signs up at Nevin and Benjamin, and Nevin and James Lane.
I will say that the stop signage has to be a circle on the side.
It has to be regulation.
Yeah,
and I think they understand that it'll have to be to specs. And also, of course, I really enjoyed our hour and a half we rode around the neighborhood, and his neighbor, Russell Miller. That's your husband? Oh. Well, glad to have you. We three of us. Oh, he's a good fellow. I just met him that day, and I know he's a good guy. But we rode around, and you know, there's a lot of new roads coming on, and you know, before we take a road on, what's the rules on someone putting up stop signs? Because I mean, there's some roads that are blacktop, still under construction, with no stop signs.
So I mean, wouldn't it be falls under sound regulations once it becomes adopted into the county?
Well, it would be our regulations, but I mean, as of right now, they haven't been asked to be adopted into the county, but they're blacktop and there's no stop sign. So.
Well, I think if you take Global Crossing, for instance, you know, it was started 30 years ago or something, 25 years ago, and like the first Nevin or Benjamin, whichever one was first when you turned in there, you know, where that subdivision originally ended, there probably wasn't a need for a stop sign. But now you put, there's probably 150 or 200 houses, 150 houses, and, you know, you can get there with both ways. So, but I mean, we could change that regulation for sure.
Yeah.
That require stop signs,
But
some of them still developments you don't really.
Well, true, but while we were looking at places, in my opinion, needed a stop sign at some intersections where they're building homes. But since we haven't adopted that road, I mean, it is what it is. If it's not our road, I guess the developer can put up a stop sign, or the HOA or whoever, I suppose, where we haven't adopted the road. I don't know what that rule is, but
You're all HOA regulations, when those new phases are coming in, how far, what's the percentage before you all actually have authority? I know there's standards, the developer has to build the house a certain way or different things, but when do you all really take effect to?
So in phases, 5 and 6, we take them on as soon as that lot is purchased by the home.
Okay.
I mean, I guess, and Corey and Cheryl, if they disagree with me, you need to listen to them and not me. But I'm thinking if there's a road that one person lives on and you're still doing development and the county hasn't taken that road over, I would think it needs a stop sign, just for safety.
I would say we wouldn't have authority to put it on there because it's been our road.
I know, but he can put it up there.
But I think the developers over there, I guess it's 5 that comes out on, Hope Junction there, they put up stop signs before, and that road's not ours yet. So the developer will put a stop sign at an intersection. We went through the same thing in Top Flight, remember a few years ago, we added stop signs, freeways, and this and that. But these were roads that, a couple of roads, even Atlantic hadn't been taken over by the county yet. So, I mean, we can do it. And the signs have to be a certain size, and Todd can tell you that, you know, and all that. But, you know, we can do that.
Well,
We're not gonna get in business, in my opinion, putting up stop signs, something that ain't ours.
correct.
That's my opinion.
I agree with that. We don't, but we did, of course, we have taken all of them on now. We did vote to, and I was telling them, because this is no different. Where we put the signs up at Top Flight is no different than the signs that they need over there. But we'll have an ordinance put together at the next meeting for these two roads. And, as far as, speed limit, and you can't put up, they have to be worded properly where you try to alert people that there might be kids in the road. You gotta have it spelled out. In fact, at my house, there's a sign that says, "We love our children." And that's all. You know, we heart our children, and there might be a kid that may not be. And you can't say, "Watch our children, don't hit them with your car." I mean, you know what I mean. You gotta word it just properly. And I'm sure there's advice that could be sought out. But their HOA, he said they're willing to pay for all the signage. So, but we'll have all this addressed in an ordinance next meeting. You know, according to Shirley, but anyhow, but that's, we'll have that at the next meeting, and then the first meeting in, August, I guess, we'll have second.
Are you all got speed limit signs on here, you all wanting to reduce the speed limits in the subdivision?
No, we're not wanting to change any of the speed limits, just add 2 sections that have, one is a 4-way stop and one is a 3-way stop.
Okay.
We currently maintain and take care of all of the stop signs in the neighborhood, so this is just added.
Are there any speed limit signs?
Posted.
There is one at 2 of the 3 entrances, so it would not hurt to have an additional speed limit sign. Especially the 3rd entrance.
I would think with, in consultation with the road department, with the road foreman, because the speed limit in a subdivision is already 25. It's not 35, it's 25 in your subdivision. So I don't know what the rule is as far as how many you can or can't have up. But
Well, I think we should pass the ordinance, if that's what we want to do, and they need to get with Todd, make sure everything is to
suspect.
Yeah, which I think they already know.
Yeah, well, we'll get that at our next night meeting. You're welcome to come, or I think we got it understood. So, all right. I think that's all that I have. Let me see if I got something I'm supposed to do. I think that's it. Does any other member have anything? We have the invoices, bills, and transfers to cover.
Motion to pay the bills and make the transfers.
Second. All right, motion by Zach, second by Mike to pay the invoices, bills, and transfers. Any discussion?
I'm just looking through those transfers on this last sheet.
The transfer sheet ought to get smaller next week. Of course, most of them are just folks that had meetings.
Yeah.
Just a few there at the bottom. Well, now, and then, like that big one at the bottom, the road fund, see, the road fund gets its, we'll get a check later this month. We get like 60% of 800 something thousand. So we pretty lean right now. So we need to put some money in there to get through, until we get that check from the state. All right, now we have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? Paying the bills? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session as KRS 61-8N. C, discussion of proposed pending litigation on behalf of the agency, and 61-810F, discussion or hearings might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of the employee. Those two, C and F. Second. All right, motion by myself, seconded by Zach, to go into executive session, KRS 61-810, C and F. This is not debatable. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We'll take a short recess. Hey, Jeff. Can I catch you a minute?
You can catch me whenever you need. As soon as you tell me what's beeping back here. I thought it was that.